Welcome to episode 2, Parental Awesomeness Podcast. Today is Thursday, August 25th. I'm Maurice.
I'm Alicia.
And today's topic, we're going to be talking about maintaining your mental health as a parent and the enforced gender roles that there are in parenting. Now, before we do get into the topics, there were a few things that we wanted to touch on from last time. There were a few comments and stuff. We asked people for feedback, and we did receive it, so we do thank you guys for that. And there was some comments I made about people not wanting to have children. That was problematic of me. I shouldn't have done that, so I do apologize for doing that. You know,
What part about it was problematic?
with the with me talking about people that don't want to have kids, it's because they don't like kids and things of that nature. And I look back on it, you know, I shouldn't have said that. Everybody has their own choice, and I should respect that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that. And also, a few people thought I said something about killing white people or getting rid of white people. Something, I can't remember the exact quote.
It was misunderstood because we did listen back a few times, and I understand why it was misheard. So, I guess we'll just really enunciate better.
Yeah.
And we'll be clear.
I mumble when I talk, so.
Yeah.
I remember. Somebody said that I was talking about taking out white people.
Yeah.
But I didn't say anything about taking out white people. I said that they were taking over other places.
Yeah, we listened to it over and over and over. I listened to it by myself. Maurice listened to it by himself. We listened to it together. And, yeah, we just wanted to clear that up. But we're not anti-white people. My son is white presenting, so I can't fathom being against people for their skin color. But right. I'm also not scared to call out the white supremacy that has led this country and people in the world. But I mean, it's touchy to talk about this stuff, and it's easy to center on your own feelings when talking about this stuff. I mean, the person who brought this up to me was not centering whatsoever. They're also a person of color, but I could understand why, you know, maybe a white person might have been like, whoa, you know, but that's, I mean, they just got to check their privilege, and I'm not scared to tell them, so.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I really didn't say that. It's just, I talk horribly. So
yeah.
People just misunderstood it. So I just wanted to go ahead and clear that up. And also, let's see, what else was there?
The Rick Ross
thing. Yeah. I was getting to that.
Sorry.
I spoke about supporting black-owned businesses, and I mentioned Rick Ross. Now we all know Rick Ross did have some issues with kidnapping and violence and things like that. So that's probably not somebody you want to support. You know, you kind of want to support positive role models. So Rick Ross probably wasn't the best choice.
No. But I didn't know about that stuff, to be completely honest, and I really should keep up with the news better. So that's, you know, I mean, I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm not caught up on every issue as much as I'd love to be. And to be honest, like we said in the last podcast, we're learning, and we want to learn with everyone. We want everyone to feel like this isn't just us telling other people what to do. This is this, that is that. We're here to teach in the areas that we feel we have experience in, and hopefully something we say that we believe might help someone else. If this is not something for you, like if we say something that's not for you, it's not for you, and we completely respect that. But we are gonna fuck up. We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna say things that we're gonna regret later. And that's just the way it is. That's just life, you know?
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's what you guys are here for. You guys tell us, we fix it.
Yeah. So we're sorry we took so long in recording episode 2. We have had a lot of stuff going on.
issues.
Lots of issues. We have a lot of personal stuff going on. Our son just went back to school. I went back to school this week. That's why I sound so tired and blah today. I'm exhausted. I have woken up really early every single day this week. I've not had a chance to rest in between our toddler and our oldest going to school and lunches and dinner and homework and work and crafting. Life. It's just been really difficult. So we apologize for taking so long. I mean, we are looking to do this at the most twice a month, but I mean, once a month isn't too bad either. It's just, we're kind of just doing it as often as we can right now. I would love to say that we're going to do this every other week or every 2 weeks. But honestly, right now we're kind of just playing it by ear because we're just so busy. So,
and I mean, once we get more established and we have a good listener base and we can
a good routine going,
and we have more topics to talk about. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but
there's always going to be something to talk about.
I mean, we do want you guys involved as well, so that way.
Yeah, if there's anything that you specifically want us to talk about, or if there's something that you want us to share, please email us. Hit us up on Facebook. We're on Twitter.
Leave a comment on the podcast, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is. If there's something
text me, I don't care.
If there's something specific, like I don't know, I have everything that I want to talk about written down. But if there's something that you want us to touch on, just let us know. I'm more than happy to do some research. I love handwriting things out. I will take any chance to look at my own handwriting because it's beautiful.
She's got a surplus of notebooks just stacked.
Paper products are my thing. I am ready to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. So,
she's not lying.
I'm not lying. So the biggest thing that I think happened to us lately was our son got into a little tiff at school. And the reason I'm bringing it up as I tell the story, is because it does tie into the topics today, which is maintaining your mental health as a parent. So our son got into a little itty bitty fight at school. I wouldn't even call it a fight. I don't even know what to call it. It was a thing.
It was a disagreement.
And he sprained his finger. So he was defending his friend, who's a girl. She is a nice girl that he's friends with, I guess. And a boy was picking on her and stole her book. So my son was like, "Don't take her book. I'm going to get it back for you. Don't worry, girl." So he gets the book back, right? And the other little boy, whose name we don't know, and we wouldn't say his name anyway, but I just want you to know this detail because it's important. So he tells my son, "Ooh, you like girl books." And my son was like, "Yeah, okay. Don't try to make fun of me like that. Who cares? I like My Little Pony." Then he started going in on him for liking My Little Pony. So my son points his little finger at him and goes, "Don't make fun of me." And the other boy grabs his finger. So my son was like, "I'm a karate chop this fool, so he will let go of my finger." So he goes to smack his hand. Dude moves his hand, and my poor little boo-boo hits his finger on the table, and it was sprained. We had to go to the hospital. He stayed home the next day because he was crying so hard.
Well, according to him, he broke his whole hand.
Oh, yeah, he did say that.
Let's not forget that.
Now, I'm not trying to, laugh off his injury because it was painful, and I could tell it was painful. But the whole situation, just looking back on it, we're like, how does this happen? The thing that really just upset me the most was the fact that only my son got in trouble. He got silent lunch, which is where you sit them at a table by themselves and they're not allowed to talk to anybody. But the other boy was just having a grand old time, didn't get in trouble at all. So I called the school and I lodged a complaint, and I was like, "Yo, had this other kid not touched my child would not have tried to fight him." Now, we teach our kids about self-defense. I don't personally think this was a self-defense situation. But I understand why my son reacted the way that he did, because he's never really been involved in any of this kind of stuff. You know,
he's not a fighter.
He's not a fighter. He's a lover, not a fighter. And it was just like, he didn't know what to do. So he did what felt natural to him, you know, just on a whim. And he got in trouble for not knowing better, because he's 8 years old and doesn't know anything about fighting or bullying. He doesn't understand it. So that's been the kind of week we've had.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. So the reason why I want to say that this ties into my mental health is because, you know, I'm his mom. I'm his parent. I gave him a life. I mean, well, I kind of hate saying I gave you life, but I mean, I brought him into this world.
And you can take him out.
And I am responsible for him. So to hear that he was hurt, you know, it just, it was so sad. I was crying. I think what bothered me more, of course, was that his feelings were hurt. And he's just such a good kid. He means so well. It just really bummed me out. And it just, you know, got me thinking, like, what's going to happen as he gets older? Am I going to have to worry more? You know, like, what kind of life is he going to have? And am I always going to be worried? And of course, I'm always going to be worried, but, you know, it's so heavy to think about that in 10 years he could be getting beat up at school, or, you know, being made feel like less of a human because he doesn't participate in gender roles, because he believes that anybody should like whatever they have and that nothing is gender assigned, especially since gender is, you know, about identity, and it's just not enforced. There's just no such thing as just for girls or just for boys, especially since gender does not mean, you know, has nothing to do with your biological sex. That's just your biological sex. Gender is about identity. So,
I mean, at the end of the day, whatever you like is what you like, you know what I mean?
Right, and nobody should be shamed for that. And I'm not ready for him. I mean, 8 years old is already too old for me, you know. I miss tiny baby boy, and he likes girls. He idolizes some guys. I don't know. He's growing up, and I fucking hate it. I don't want him to grow up, because this world fucking sucks, and I don't want him to ever go through this stuff. And it weighs heavily on me. You know, in one aspect, I'm just constantly worrying. I'm constantly trying to, you know, teach him better so that he's not like a typical, you know, tough guy, macho bro stuff. I mean, if that's what he is, and that's what he is, but I feel like being forced into that is what could, you know, potentially damage him in the future, and I don't want any of that. So
yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. We won't know until he gets there. So he shows signs of both, so it's kind of tough to tell. Yeah,
I just don't want him to grow up. So if anybody has a way to just like stunt it, let me know.
Holla at us. You can be one of our sponsors to the podcast. We'll shout you out.
I just want my babies to stay small forever. So, well, I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. I just feel so like overwhelmed with everything, and I don't know. I guess it's good that we're doing this episode, because I am definitely feeling the weight of being a parent right now. So before I let Maurice talk about his topics, I just want to talk about don't look at me like that. You guys should see how he's looking at me right now. Before I let Maurice jump into what he has to say, the reason why I wanted to do these topics is because the last episode I said that being a parent is awesome. It can be, but it can also be really fucking horrible. It can be mentally taxing, and it can actually really bring you down. So, to be clear, parenting is more than just changing diapers. It's more than just giving birth. It's more than just being biologically related to a child. It's more,
More than working and buying toys.
Yeah, it's so complex, and I feel like people just don't have a good understanding of what it is to be a parent. And I feel like people lack a huge respect for parents.
Yeah.
It's like we're not allowed to be anything but parents, and I cannot stand that.
I'm like, wait, you guys have fun? No way.
Right? Like it like drives me nuts when I go out, and I mean, I'm tattooed, not like heavily, I guess moderately, but I mean, I'm clearly different, you know. I'm already Mexican, you know, and I look not white, and I have tattoos, and I dye my hair, and I wear Sailor Moon shirts and Pokemon shirts and Star Wars shirts, and I wear leggings and yoga pants all the time, and I have shoes with cat designs on them. I mean, just because I birthed children doesn't mean I need to give up what I like. I'm not going to start dressing like a 1991 frumpy mother.
Or get you some mom pants. Go ahead.
There are some cute ones, but I mean, I'm not going to start wearing like bland floral patterns. I'm not going to, you know, cut my hair a certain way. I'm not going to stop doing the things I like just because I had children.
Only PTA meetings. That's it.
I can't even. I mean, I would love to join the PTA, but I just know that there's going to be conflict because I'm totally different. So
you can't have fun as a parent. Sorry.
It's just too much. So.
I mean, I play more video games than most kids do, so I can't say much. But.
Yeah, I just think, you know, people put so much pressure on parents from the minute they get pregnant or sign adoption papers or
even plan to have kids.
Yeah, it's like we're not humans unless we have children. I don't know. I can't take it. It's just too much. And I feel like it's just not talked about enough. So, I know I'm talking a lot on this episode and I'm gonna talk more. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let Maurice say his piece before I bore you.
What piece am I saying here?
I don't know. You tell me. Whichever one you want. I thought you had all of your stuff.
I mean, I was just looking up different things to talk about.
Right.
I mean, like I said, you know, I play video games. So some of the things that I was looking up was, you know, if you have hobbies, do them with your kids. I mean, our son loves to play video games. And we let him when he's good. You know, we play with him. We've had Super Smash Brothers tournaments. I'm trying to teach him how to play Pokemon better so I can take him with me. Stuff like that. I mean, if there's a hobby you have and you can include your kids in it, do it. You'll never know if they like it or not. You can't just automatically assume, my kid's not going to like that, because it might not be true.
So what you're saying is, a way to have self-care is to include your children in the things you like to do so you don't have to give them.
Well, because people's main complaint is, well, I don't have time for that. Well, make time for it. You know, I mean, if you do have the kids, include them in it. If you like cars and you say, oh, I never have time to work on my car, take your kids outside with you. Work on the car, let them run around. If they want to grab a tool, let them grab a tool. You know, I mean, if you want to play video games, I mean, I give our daughter a controller. It's not plugged in. It doesn't have batteries in it, but she thinks she's playing. I mean, that just enough to, you know, keep them busy, keep them excited, make them feel like they're included. I mean, that itself right there shows that you care about them and that you love them, that you want to include them in the things that you like to do. And I mean, besides that, yeah, you want your own time as well, but you're not always going to get it. So, yeah. But you still, you know, you can't sacrifice your own mental well-being just because you don't have time to do anything. You have to make time. You have to plan around it. Get a babysitter. Do something.
And it's hard to do that kind of stuff. I can't even remember the last time we went out.
Yeah.
I want to say it was Valentine's Day when we went to go see Deadpool. I honestly think that's the last time we went out.
Probably.
like just us. I don't even think we went out for your birthday. And we're
No.
probably not going to go out for mine.
You were working.
Oh, yeah. I work weekends. So basically, what we're saying is make sure that you find time to self-care. Because and this goes for any age of a child, I think there's no such thing as an easy age. Maybe, like for me, when I had my daughter, because that's the most recent pregnancy that I can, like, relate to right now. I mean, I remember my pregnancy with my son, but I had a lot of stuff going on back then. I was a single mom. I was getting back together and breaking up with my ex at the time. And then, like, he left, and I was a single mom for 5 years. Blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get into too much detail about that, but that was almost 9 years ago. So I don't remember that pregnancy as clearly as I remember my daughter's, because she will be 2 in September. So 9 versus 2 years. So when I had her, I stayed home the first year of her life before going back to school. And I want to say that she was just an easygoing baby. I was so lucky. But I want to say that her first months were the easiest. Not like when she was first born, but like once she kind of got over like the first month. So I want to say like month 2 through like month 6 were the easiest, because she didn't move. She was just a tiny flesh blob. And she napped all the fucking time. So I got to nap all the fucking time. I got to put her down and let her nap, and I could watch Netflix. I could cook. I could clean. I did laundry. I folded laundry. I read a book. And if she would nap on my chest and I would read a book, or I would Facebook or text message. Oh, I miss those days. Not that I don't enjoy her toddler years, but God, I miss those days. I just miss
freedom.
Just those 5 minutes of silence. Like, God, they were glorious.
That's why we don't do the podcast, because we don't get any silence.
Yeah.
If you tried to do this during the day, you would hear them screaming in the back right now.
Yeah, it's 11:30 at night right now, so it's technically almost August 26th. But
yeah, and we have to be up at 6 to take them to school.
You have to be up at 6 to take him to school. I'm napping.
I'm waking you up.
But anyways, the point is, you know, there's really no such thing as an easy age when you have a child. You really do not rest until they're a little bit more self-sufficient, and that takes a while. So kudos to anybody who thinks parenting is easy. I am so happy for you if it came easy to you, but I promise you it's not at all.
It's not going to be that way for every child.
No, it's not. That's what I meant to say. It's really not. My son, when he was a toddler, was not like my daughter now. He was easygoing. He didn't really care about if somebody took his toys. He followed directions, even at 2. Oh my gosh, our daughter is like so mean. She's sassy. She's bossy. She yells. She hits. She hasn't figured out how to bite yet. She is that child where, you know, people will be like, oh my God, what is wrong with that child? Why didn't they take her out of the store? That's her. But that's just the way she is. And she's the best. I love her so much. So even though she's a wild child, I mean, I'm not going to like stop her from being herself. I'm just going to, you know, guide her. But it's not easy. It's not easy at all. It's so frustrating. And she follows me into the bathroom. And honestly, if Maurice was not home right now, I would lose it. I really would. I would probably cry a lot. Sometimes I want to. Between both of them. Because, I mean, every child has a bad day. They're tiny people. They have emotions. It's perfectly normal. We have bad days. But, man, it gets so tiring. And sometimes I just want to go to sleep for like 5 days at a time.
Let's do it.
I totally would. So, I guess the best advice I can give to a parent is if you feel like your life is just completely overwhelming you and you're not happy, don't feel guilty, because you're so much more than a parent. You're not just a parent. You're you. And whatever you do, do not lose sight of what you need and who you are and what you need to do for yourself. I read an article, and the title itself, I don't think I even need to jump into it. The title itself said, "I wasn't happy until I became more than just a mom." When people look at mothers specifically, so I'm going to speak on mothers, we'll say,
talk about mothers.
we'll comment, we'll say, "Oh, we're so tired. The baby was up all night. They're teething, and, they just learned how to walk. So they're getting into everything. And I haven't even had a chance to go to the store to buy all the stuff to baby proof the house. And so is working overtime. So I'm really tired. I'm overwhelmed." And somebody's going to jump in to the conversation, or it'll be the person you're talking to, whoever. There's always one. They're going to say, "Yeah, well, that comes with being a parent, and you chose to be one, so suck it up." No, do not say just suck it up. People do not talk about just how incredibly crippling it can be to be a parent, because you're not just taking care of a child. You're actually responsible for their entire being, their mental health, their emotional health, their social developments, their physical developments. And, you have to make sure they don't die. That's a lot of responsibility on any person to take, whether you birth that child or adopt that child. If that's your nephew and they live with you and you have to take care of them, you're taking on a parental role, and it is so hard. And I'm so sick of people judging parents and putting them down, because we already do enough as it is. And in the parenting communities, for whatever fucked up reason there's already a lot of competition. Well, I feed my baby homemade baby food. I don't feed them processed food. All right, cool. Good for fucking you. There's no reason to shame each other. There's already, well, I breastfed and you formula fed and my child's going to be healthier. Yes, we get it. Breast milk has a lot of nutrients. But you know what? It's not every mother's choice to breastfeed. And, did you vaccinate? Did you not vaccinate? Did you circumcise your son or did you not? Are you going to pierce your daughter's ears when she's a baby or when she's older? Is this a cultural thing? I could go on for days. It's already a dog-eat-dog world, and parents need a fucking break. So, I've seen so many people just bash parents, specifically mothers. Like, God forbid we do anything that makes us happy. I can't deal with it. It makes me mad, and I'm not here for this shit. And if anybody tries to look at me sideways for the way I parent, unless I'm abusing my children, please fuck off. I'm not here for your shit. Worry about your own kids, or if you don't have any, enjoy it. But don't worry about what other parents are doing. It's unnecessary to put more stress on parents and force us to try to please you, I can't deal with it. It's too much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Allie.
Yeah. It's just too much. And I think about this every day because I've been hearing it since, my son was born. All right, here's a good example. When I had my son, my ex that I was with, he cheated on me when I was pregnant, and then he took off the day my son was born. We're in a good place now. We get along now. He met somebody. He's got 2 more children. He turned his life completely around, and I've never been more proud of him. But 9 years ago, I wanted to strangle him. I wanted to fight him. I wanted to ruin his life because he fucked me over, and he knows it, and I know it. So I'm not going to lie about this. But nobody seemed to be mad at him for abandoning his child. And people would get mad at me if I went out, or if I had a boyfriend, or if I worked full time, or if I didn't work enough. It's like I could never catch a break. And it was really hard to deal with because I already had postpartum depression. And, on top of that, I had people who didn't even understand what it felt like to be in my shoes telling me what I needed to do. And you shouldn't be out at a bar at a Friday night after you just worked 40 hours a week. You should be at home with your child. Well, I am going to be home with my child when I get home. I came out for one drink, or I went out for sushi, or I went shopping. Like, nothing I did was good enough for anybody. And people who knew that it was just me would still give me shit for it. And it was expected of me to do it anyway. So no harm, no foul. If he was gone, it was on me anyway. It's my responsibility because I'm the mother. And that's just such, like, crap. I mean, if we had come to the mutual decision that he wasn't going to be there from the beginning, this would have played out differently. But like I said, we're in a much better place, and I love the girl that he's with now. She's like such a fucking angel. I almost don't understand how he landed such a good woman. Like, I would rather just have her. I love her so much. But, I mean, it was so hard to deal with because it just wasn't fair. And even now that I'm married to Maurice, it's still expected of me to do all the parenting. And that's not to say that I don't take on that role. I am what a friend referred to as a lead parent, because I kind of handle all the doctor's appointments. I make sure the lunches are packed. I make sure that whatever food is being cooked is cooked. I am in charge of the diapering. I mean, like, I chose to cloth the diaper, and I talked Maurice into it. And I choose the different kinds of parenting styles that we do. You know, like, I did the research on them. And not to say that I don't trust Maurice. It's just what I did. And maybe it's because that's what I've been forced into thinking I need to do. You know, taking on everything and doing it by myself. Plus, I mean, I was a single mom for 5 years. Of course, I want to be in control. I've been in control of my life all this time. It's really hard to let go of that, but it's not fair. If there's two parents, you know, both of them need to come to a mutual agreement of how things are going to go. It shouldn't just be on solely one person, unless that's what you choose. I mean, it's up to you, but it's not fair that, you know, the motherly role is expected to do it all. I don't like that. And a good example would be after John Legend and Christy, his wife, had their baby. They went out to dinner like 2 or 3 days after she gave birth, and they left the baby at home with the nanny. And everybody dragged her. They dragged her all over Twitter. She was being criticized. You know, how dare she? She just had a baby. All right, well, John Legend just had a baby too, and nobody said shit about him going out 3 days after his child was born. What the fuck is that? Ugh, I can't. Ugh. I need a break. Can you talk? Do you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, you know, it's a... How do I say this? It's a new day and age. You know, back when your grandparents had kids or whatever, it was more so quote unquote socially acceptable for the mothers to be the ones that took care of the house, and the father's the one that took care of the, you know, finances and working and stuff like that, you know. But I mean, it just doesn't work that way anymore. Especially with, I mean, men and women should always be treated equally to begin with, but, you know, it's happening more nowadays than it was back then, to where, you know, any position, anywhere, basically, where the laws are right, are, you know, men and women both hold those positions. I mean, there's women running for president now, you know, so we might have the first woman president, you know, in this election. Not that I agree with it, but whatever. That's
you don't agree with a woman being president?
No, well, I don't agree with that woman being president.
I'm just kidding.
But, you know, that's a whole nother topic or podcast there. But, you know, I mean, having a child is a shared responsibility. In the purest form of having a child, it takes a man and a woman to make a child. Biologically.
Not necessarily.
I mean, yes, there's adoption and a whole, list of other options for having children. But biologically, it takes a man and a woman to have a child. So both parties should be responsible for the well-being of that child.
Unless you have a prearranged agreement.
Right. But, I mean,
for the basics
either or can pick up the slack. If the mom's tired, then the dad needs to do something. If the dad's tired, then the mom needs to do something.
Yeah, and the same goes for any same-sex couples. If there's two of you, or if you're in a polyamorous relationship and there's, more than two of you, the responsibility of the child falls on every person filling that parental role. It's not just one, it's not just the other, it's everybody's responsibility. Now, of course, if you are in a relationship where, like, for example, if Maurice and I were still dating, I'm not sure that I would give him the same, not give him, but I'm not sure that I would feel comfortable having him having some of the same parental roles that I have, because we're not married yet. And maybe we haven't reached that point where we agree on what parenting roles we both want to achieve together. You know what I'm saying? If I don't make sense, email me, let me know. Like I said, I'm really tired, but had we still been dating right now, we're 4 years in, so of course we would have already talked to it. But if this was still fresh, then that's a different story. But if you're in a committed relationship, or you're in a partnership with another person, or if you have a child together, even if you're not together, and you guys are both, or all three of you, whoever, if the parental figures are agreeing to raise those children together, it's got to be a partnership of some kind. It can't just all fall on one person, whether they be male or female, whether they be whoever. It's just not okay to do that. And if you need to hire a nanny, hire your fucking nanny. I wish I had a nanny. But
nobody should get mad at you for thinking about your children. If you yourself can't handle the full responsibility of it, of course you're going to need help. If somebody's criticizing you for getting help, then, I wouldn't even listen to it. It would be worse if you just neglected your child and just
absolutely
knew that you couldn't fully take care of them and just were okay with that.
Yeah, it's up to you and what you think is best, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
They're your children.
Yeah, but definitely make sure that you discuss with your partner what roles you guys are going to take. Right. Discuss it.
The communication is important, because then, both of you guys are clear on who's doing what, and, what you guys are sharing responsibility on. Not that one day something happens and you're like, oh, I thought you were going to do it. No, you were supposed to do it. No, it doesn't need to be that way.
No, if Maurice says he's going to change the baby and then he gets sidetracked, I'm going to go grab a fucking diaper and change her. It is what it is, you just do what you need to do. But when you're doing all of this, make sure you are taking care of yourself. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure that you're healthy. Make sure you're,
live your life.
Yeah. Live your life. Make sure that I'm trying to find the right words to say this. Take care of yourself. Make sure that you are focusing on the well-being of everybody, right, including yourself. Do not let yourself get dragged into...
Don't put your feelings aside to make sure everybody else is satisfied.
Yeah, don't get dragged into these medieval...
You're a parent. You're not supposed to have fun. It's your kid's turn. You lived your life.
Yeah, it's medieval. It's
archaic.
Yes.
Is that what you're looking for?
Yes. It's just not applicable anymore.
And a lot of stuff that you do, especially like us, I'm 28. I'm nowhere near old. I might joke and say I'm old, but 28, that's still young, you know. And
I am old.
I still do young people things, you know. But,
and what does that even mean?
Yeah,
what does young people things mean?
Everything has, you know, people always try to classify things in certain areas. So I'm just speaking in that sense.
Yeah, like,
I myself, I don't think the stuff I do is for kids. I mean, I'm doing it and I enjoy it and I'm an adult, you know. So, I mean, you know, the older generation talks about like video games and, you know, comic books and cartoons and stuff. Well, that stuff's for kids. No, I mean, you can't. They throw a lot of stuff, even in children's movies. They throw stuff in there for parents. You know, they might throw a little joke in there that you as a parent are sitting in the theater and you're like, oh, I get it, you know. Mm-hmm. But your child will never pick up on that because they're not old enough to understand. And I mean, the same with video games. I mean, they have video games for kids. They also have more mature video games that kids shouldn't be playing, like, you know, Grand Theft Auto or something like that. Like, you don't want your kids playing that. Like, but as an adult, I enjoy playing it. I can do stuff that I probably shouldn't be doing out here in the streets, but I can do it in the video game, in the safety of my own home, and be with my family.
Yeah, I watch Harry Potter all the time.
Yeah, I mean...
And those are, you know, children, coming-of-age books, teenager books.
Hey, Harry Potter was written by an adult. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this stuff is made by adults. It's for kids. Well, I don't give a shit. If I want to watch Sailor Moon, I'm going to watch Sailor Moon. If I want to watch My Little Pony, I'm going to watch My Little Pony. It makes me happy. It gives me a break from the outside world that depresses me. And it gives me a chance to kind of breathe and remember that I'm allowed to enjoy myself. So, fuck anybody who tries to tell me different because I ain't going to have all that.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
Yeah, bruh.
Touching on the mental health, I am part of a Facebook group whose name I'm not going to mention because you can't sit with us. I'm just kidding, but I'm not going to mention the name. You can sit with us.
She's not kidding.
I got some feedback from a couple of other mothers, and I wanted to share some of that.
Oh.
So this is kind of just reiterating everything I said, but I wanted you guys to hear it from someone else besides me, because I talked so much, and
well, you'll still hear it from her, but it was written by somebody else.
That's right. Anyways, so I didn't actually specifically ask if I could say names or not, so I'm just going to say the first letters of their names. And I only got 2 responses so far, but I'm more than happy to read any other ones if you guys want to mail them in. So this is from my friend V. What she said was, when I had my son, I had no idea what to do with myself. I got a quote-unquote mom haircut. I changed my wardrobe to be more of a mom, and I was miserable. It greatly contributed to my postpartum depression. I think what the most frustrating thing about it was the comments. I was clearly depressed and miserable, and every time I started talking about it, the response I got was, but you're a mom now. That's the best thing that has ever happened to you. Or even worse, you have to take care of someone other than yourself now, so you need to suck it up. As a result, I was never without my child. I still struggle to find time for myself, but it's completely expected of me to always be with my son. When I ask why I wasn't invited to happy hour after work, I'm told that nobody thought I would want to go because I'm a mom. When I say I need a day to myself, I'm looked at like I grew a third head because doesn't time with my child count as me time? My own personal development and happiness is pushed to the wayside completely for the sake of being a mother. I think what people fail to realize is that in order for me to be the mother that I need to be, personal development must always be taking place. As your child grows, you're also growing as a person. Who you are today probably isn't capable of handling the issues your child will bring to the table in 10 years. That speaks so much to me. Like, so much.
You want to go to happy hour?
I would love to. Are you kidding me?
Bye.
I need a margarita right now. I need 5 of them. Yeah, that spoke so much to me because that's basically exactly what I said earlier, but she just said it so much better than I ever could, and she was probably not as, I don't know, maybe she was as tired as I am right now, but sure as hell didn't seem like it. So thank you, V, for that response because it was spot on. It was exactly what I feel every day. I try so hard to find me time. I sew, I read, I'm trying to do more crafts. I want to make bath bombs. I want to do so many things.
She could open her own department store, basically.
I seriously could, do so much. It's just finding the time is hard, and sometimes I'm incredibly sad that I don't get to do the things I want to do. I had like a to-do list before I had kids. I had every intention of learning how to play the accordion, and I still haven't done it. And I even said, before I turn 30, I'm going to learn to play the accordion. That should never happened, and I still want to play the accordion. I've always wanted to. And I don't know if I'll ever get the chance to. I mean, I'm doing more for myself now. I'm in school. I have a job that I like. I mean, it's not a forever job, but it's a job that I enjoy for now. And, I'm taking up more crafts that I want to make, and I'm keeping in touch with friends. I actually have a few friends in town, and we just moved here like 2 years ago, so making friends has been really difficult for me because I'm so used to being back home in California, and I'm still kind of living in the past a little bit, but I'm getting better. And I'm not as miserable as I was the first year. The first year of my daughter's life was horrifying. Not because of her, but I was stuck at home with her. I had no car. Maurice was working. I only had Wi-Fi and Netflix. I didn't even have a cell phone. I mean, I had a cell phone, but it didn't have texting or phone call or anything. So I was at home with just internet. I think that's the time that I talked to my mother the most. And if you know me and you're listening to this, my mother and I do not have the best relationship. So, if I called her like 8 times a day, like I'm bored as fuck. And I'm miserable as fuck. I cried every day. Our marriage was suffering because of it. Not like it was his fault or just my fault. It was just the cards that we were handed just were not working out for us. It's better now. I mean, I don't know. I'm still kind of miserable, but not for the same reasons. But, I'm getting better. I'm doing more for myself. I'm trying to find myself. And at 31, I'll be 31 in November. I'm still struggling, but that's life. Life isn't about having your life set at 30. It's about living. And sometimes living means taking longer to find a good routine, to find yourself, to find what it is that you love to do, and to get into a good rhythm until your last breath, So, listening to my friend V say these things about how she lost herself and she immediately took on the expected mom role, I totally understand. And I appreciate her, feeling comfortable enough with me to share that with me and allowing me to speak about this. And she did offer to call in and, share it with us. And I think I do want to have her on here someday.
We'll put her on here. She's probably sleeping right now like we should be, but
yeah. So I have one more.
Oh.
This is from my friend Jay. Now, we had a conversation. Oh no, that's a different person. Where is she? Okay, not for my friend Jay.
No Jay.
I do have a friend Jay.
She has a friend Jay.
Now, this girl, I'm not friends with her on Facebook or anything.
Oh.
So that's why I was a little confused on the messages. But from S.
Oh.
So she says that she thinks that moms/parents are expected to lose themselves in their child or children. I think that's the way society plays it up. I was lucky enough to be a stay-at-home mom with a nanny for 4 years. But I think part of the problem in the bigger picture is that she completely lost herself and she was strictly B's mom. When I would get a sitter so I could go out or do something with friends that didn't involve kids, my parents mom shamed me and made me feel like the worst person ever for wanting me time. I think part of that also played into me completely losing myself because I stopped doing things for myself that I enjoyed. My son is 9, and I've been completely wrapped into being just his mom. It hit me like a sack of bricks last year, and I was in a depressed state because I completely lost myself and had no identity outside of being a mom. My schedule worked around his needs were met first, as they should be, and it was all about him and literally revolved around him. My interests were set aside. I was able to talk to a dad on B's hockey team, and he assured me it was okay to lose myself and that now it was time to find myself again. Over the last year, I've been in a book club. Oh, that's such a good idea. I just bought a used camera so I could explore a new hobby. Oh, that's a good idea too. I took up crocheting just to kind of find myself again. Why am I not friends with her? It's been a long year, but I'm starting to find me, and who knew I could still be a mom? I don't know if this next bit is off topic or not, but I think the expectations put on moms is a bit much too, and the parent shaming is awful as well. Yeah, this too you see, we all have kind of the same feelings because it's just not talked about enough, and we have all of this pent up inside us. Like, I hope this doesn't just sound like I'm rambling about the same thing over and over. And like I said, I'm super exhausted, but this is so important. I cannot stress how important it is. Cut parents some fucking slack, man. Please. And recognize that a father who's in a child's life isn't like a fucking blessing. It shouldn't be treated like, oh my God, I cannot believe that man is in that child's life. What a good man.
You are so lucky.
They supposed to be there. You know, they are supposed to be suffering right along with me. If I'm depressed, you're depressed, Maurice. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, we're supposed to go through this together. It's not just supposed to be on one or the other. So please don't do that bullshit either.
Yeah.
I really don't know what else to say without sounding like a complete deranged person right now. Let's take a break.
Yeah, let's do that.
I need to calm down a bit. We're
going to take a break. She's going to sip her tea, and we'll be back. All right, so we're back from break.
Hello. It's me.
Had to freshen our voices up, you know.
We did the scales.
You know. Well, we had some, what do they drink? Warm water and something? I don't know. I'm not a singer. You could tell if you ever heard me sing. But anyway, so now, you know, Allie talked to you guys for a while, so...
Like an hour, sorry.
I'm just going to go ahead and speak for myself now as a father and stepfather. I started off as a stepfather coming into the relationship because Allie did have her son. He was 4 or 5 by the time I met her. So, you know, that was something that I did have to prepare myself for going into the relationship because I don't have kids. And I never even had a relationship long enough to decide to have kids. So that was not something that was really on my mind ever at that point because I'd never really got far enough with anybody to prepare myself to be in that situation. I mean, had it accidentally happened, I would have had to step up, but it didn't, so thank God for that. Well, I mean, having kids would have been cool, but I would rather have kids with somebody that I was going to be with as compared to accidentally having kids with somebody. But I mean, that's my choice. And so yeah, I came in as a stepfather. So not only did I have to learn how to be a parent, I also had to kind of already adjust to what was going on, because it wasn't like the first 4 or 5 years of her son's life I was around. I kind of had to come in and, how do I say, like, I mean, they were already kind of set in their ways of how they dealt with him. They knew him, so they knew what worked and what didn't. So I had to pick that up as well and kind of just, conform to that, but also still try to be myself at the same time. That way he gets me, and he can try to grow used to being around me and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was tough, but, I mean, like I said, I knew it going in, and if I felt like I couldn't handle it, then I probably wouldn't have moved forward in that situation. And, there's good times, there's bad times, just like anything else. Of course, with being a stepfather, you've got the whole, some kids will tell you, like, you're not my dad, or some kids will tell you they miss their real dad, or they want to meet their real dad. Some kids never met their real dad. You just kind of have to be there for them, but also respect the fact that, if the real father did come around, or if the real father was in the picture, that, you can't really, like, that it's the kid's choice. You can't keep them away from their family.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I think you should think about how you address the real father thing, because being a father is more than just being biologically related. I think you are a real father to our son in ways that his biological father is not. So maybe in the future kind of think about that, because you are a real father. You're not imaginary.
Right, yeah. I wasn't even into that yet. I was speaking stepfathers in general right now.
I know, I'm just saying that your words, you know what I'm saying?
No, but...
Like I said, you might hear us argue on the podcast sometimes, so just know we're going to fight later.
All right, so now I lost my track of thought here.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is going to be some dead air here for a second. But, I mean, as coming in as a stepfather, you act as their father. Don't try to act any different. Be there for them when they want somebody to talk to. You're there for them when they need somebody to help them with things. Fill that role. Whatever they're missing in their life, you need to be there for that. Don't try to act like, well, I'm not your real dad, I don't have to do this. Like, no, that's not, no. You have to be there for, if that kid is in your life, that's your kid. You're taking care of them, that's your kid, and I just feel like, I don't know, I mean, I myself wouldn't feel right if I was in her son's life and I wasn't treating him as my own child. Like, it just wouldn't feel right to me. And then, of course, having a child with her on top of that, it also made me appreciate it even more, to the fact that I have 2 children now that I can raise, and I have one that I wasn't there for the first 4 or 5 years of their life, but that's okay. I still have the whole rest of their life that I'm there for them. And I also have our daughter now, which I got to see being born and stuff like that. So I also got that experience as well. So I kind of got the best of both worlds out of it. I got to come in and kind of already have a little bit of parenting experience before I actually had another child, which some people don't get to do. Like Allie, she didn't have that experience going in. When she had her son, she didn't know, half of the stuff that she knows now, because she never had a child before that, or had, somebody else that she was dating that had a child that she was taking care of. So I think me coming in as a stepfather prepared me for becoming an actual father of our second child as well, because I knew some of the things, even though there is a big difference in a 5-year-old and a newborn, but the basic principles of being a parent were there, and I understood them. And, it's just important to understand that, and to work, like she said, parents need to work together. This isn't a world where women are the ones that get criticized for everything. Like she mentioned the John Legend thing, to where, they went out to dinner and his wife got all the slack for them being out to dinner a couple days after they had the kid. But, he was gone too. He needs to be watching the kid too, not just the wife. And I don't think it's fair that, men get praise for being in their child's life when that's something that they should be doing. Like, I know, especially, I basically grew up in Georgia, which in Georgia, the child support laws and stuff like that are pretty strict. And it's gotten to the point where around here, in the area that I grew up, like, if you were a father and you were in your child's life, like, good for you, like, great job. You're there, and it shouldn't be that way. Like, you're supposed to be there. And I don't know, I don't get it. Like, I will never praise somebody in that way for being in their child's life. I mean, it's something that you're supposed to be doing. And I don't know if it's gonna make sense the way I'm saying it, but you should be in your child's life. You shouldn't get praise for doing that, and if so, not the dad only. Like, the family itself should be receiving that praise. Like, good job, you're taking care of your child as a family, not as a father or as a mother. It should be as a family, because that's what you guys are. You're a family. And, let's see. With that comes, different activities or different things you're going to have to compromise on. Like, I myself, I didn't really care about cloth diapering and stuff like that. As long as my baby had diapers, I was cool with it, Allie introduced me to the cloth diapering. She did her research. She even made me a little book. She hand wrote a little book.
71 pages.
She gave it to me to, here, take this to work, read it, And, I checked it out. We tried it out, and, it ended up saving us a lot of money. And that's my main thing on it. I still kind of prefer disposables over cloth diapers, but I do love the fact that it saves us that money. And to me, that's what's important. The extra money being there to be able to do things with my family. I'll sacrifice, doing something that I might not enjoy that much for the sake of the family being able to do extra stuff. And she loves to do it. It makes her happy. Why not, She deserves to be happy just like I deserve to be happy, so let's do it, Just like she loves baby wearing. She loves baby carriers. She loves ring slings, all that. See, I know these things because she talks with me about them. She's in a baby wearing group. They have meetings. I go to the meetings. I was the only dad there for most of the meetings. There was maybe 1 or 2 times where another dad was there, and none of those dads were participating. One of them was watching the kids. And the other time that the one guy was there, he was there, but you could tell he was just there because his wife made him come. He didn't really want to be there, and he was just kind of sitting there. And if that's the case, just don't go. It takes the fun out of it. Like, I know myself personally, I saw that guy sitting there, and it brought my mood down. Like, this guy doesn't want to be here. I don't want to look at him sitting there all miserable. Just stay at home, you know. Just I mean, if you really don't want to participate, tell her that. But I felt it was important to know. I mean, in the case that, you know, I want to try it out. Well, I mean, I'm the type of person that, you know, I'm not gonna knock something until I actually try it out. I'm not gonna say, oh, that's stupid or that sucks. You know, I want to experience it myself.
Oh, and you have. You've worn her a couple times. It was so cute. My God, you are one sexy father.
Shh. And I mean, you know, I've worn her a couple times. I just don't like to do it for the fact that I sweat easily. And I get it from my mom. She sweats easily too. And with me wearing our daughter, I'm gonna get sweaty, and then she's gonna get sweaty, and that's just it's a bad combination. So I don't do it that often. But if I had to, I would. You know, it's not something that I'm opposed to doing. And I tried it out, and even if I didn't like it, at least I tried it. So that in itself brings me comfort to know that, you know, I tried it, and now I do know if I like it or not. I'm not just giving up, and I'm not conforming to the gender roles that people try to throw into parenting. Which is, I mean, I think, like I said earlier, it's a family thing. It's not a mother or a father thing. Raising a child is a family thing. And I mean, you know, right now, for example, Allie works on the weekends. She goes to class during the week. I'm at home with the kids most of the time. I'm doing online classes, so I'm right here at the house. So I'm changing diapers. I'm making snacks. I'm making lunch. You know, I'm doing all that.
You're doing her hair.
Right. I've had to do our daughter's hair a few times. It doesn't look the best, but guess what? I'm doing it. I'm that dad in that video with the vacuum cleaner. That's that's gonna be me. But you know, I mean, I'm doing it, and I don't have any problem doing it because that's my responsibility as a parent. I don't say, well, you should be doing that. You're the mother. You're the woman. You know, this isn't a woman's job. Being a parent is not a woman's job or a woman's responsibility. It's the parent's responsibility. So it's, you know, just the way that it is. I don't know. It's like I want to think of something else to say about it, but to me, it's the way it should be, and I feel that I needed to express that. And Allie's shaking her head right now. Yep. With a yes, not a no. So she must agree.
Yeah. I'm really happy that, you know, you were so open to trying all these new things, because, I mean, I remember when I first brought up the cloth diapering, I mean, I didn't even know it was a thing. When I had MJ, I just said his name. I was never going to say his name on the podcast. Anyways.
Well, it's just his initials like your friends.
Oh, that's true. Okay. When I had MJ, I was really wrapped up in my personal drama with my ex. I mean, I'm not going to say the only reason, but I got pregnant because my relationship with MJ's dad was, we partied. We were homeless together. We were inseparable. We were always together, but we were always partying. So we were either high or we were drunk. Now all we did was smoke weed. So we were, you know, a little stoned here and there. And that's what we did. We just partied. So I got pregnant because we were not having safe sex. And I didn't look into any pregnancy, anything. I mean, I ate okay. I had a high sodium intake, so I had to watch it. But other than that, I did not research birthing plans. I didn't research diapering. I didn't research anything. I literally did not know shit. I didn't even know about car seat safety. I turned my son at 1. I mean, that's the legal age to turn a child in California, but it's not the safest recommended way to do. I mean, the safest is until 2. So I look back on it and I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking? So, you know, I didn't really have anybody to guide me in modern ways. I mean, I had my mom and she helped a lot, but, you know, she had me in 1985. She had my brother in 1975. And, you know, I didn't have any information like I do now. Mm-hmm. And it was hard because being a depressed mom made everything so much harder. And having someone now who's there with me through all of it is so much more relaxing to me. It's so much more, it's just so much better for me. That's just the way it is for me. I am happy having a partner that is willing to listen to me when I say, hey, maybe we should cloth diaper. It's going to save us a ton of money, and it's not that hard to do. People think it's disgusting, but it's really not. And I got to shout out my friend Carrie a little bit here because she's the one who got me into it. And I've never been more happy cloth diapering. It is seriously one of my favorite things in the entire world. I love nothing more than doing my diaper laundry and stuffing all my diapers and then putting them on my daughter to see her little fluffy butt. I love it so fucking much. And that is something for my daughter, but it brought me some joy because I got to do, it was like I got to do homework. It's like I was in class and I did all the research when I wasn't in school yet. So I had something to do, something to look forward to. And I still learn something new every day. I found a diaper store. It's about an hour out from where we live, but I bought quite a few things the last time we were there, and I got my daughter a new diaper. I got stuff to strip her diapers, and if I'm going to do anything, it's going to be for the benefit of the family. But like I'm saying right now, the best part about it is that it brings me joy. So I'm happy doing it. I don't see it as a chore. I fucking love it. And she does. And the baby wearing too, it has saved us so much. Like, yeah, we have strollers and we use the strollers a bit more now that she's older and she likes to be all up in the business. Not to say that she wouldn't be up in the business if I wear her, and she does like to be worn, but it's also really hot here and humid. And, you know, we don't go out as much right now. So I have no need to wrap her or to wear her. And when I say wrap, there's something called a woven wrap. And you wrap the baby onto you with the wrap. It's like a really long piece of fabric, like a giant scarf. Just to clarify that. And I wish I could show you because I have a couple, but obviously you can't see me. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a need to wear her right now, so I haven't used them. But when I started wearing her, Maurice, like he said, he tried it. And I was just like over the moon. So in love. I took pictures and I was like, oh my God, look at my cute husband. He's the cutest baby wearing dad. And I'm just so thankful that he was so open to trying all these new things with me regarding our child. And it's just so much, it's just so like refreshing. I can take a breath of air. And I'm so lucky because not everybody has this and not everybody has the patience that he has, because I'm a handful. So I always want to do something new with the kids. Always. I'm always like, oh, we're going to do this, or I learned about this at school and we should follow this theory. Like, I want a garden now. I want a mud kitchen. I want chickens. I want a playhouse in the backyard. I want to have like playscapes and manipulatives, and I'm applying my major to the kids, and having a partner who's willing to listen to me and work with me on all these things. He brings things to the table all the time So it's so refreshing to have a partner that is there, that is doing the damn thing and being, being with me through all of it. So if you have this, you're so lucky, because there's so many people out there who don't have it. And I mean, kudos to the people who don't have it and don't need it. I mean, there are some people who prefer to be single parents, and I gotta give them fucking kudos. How do you do that? If there is a single parent out there who listens to this and you prefer it that way, I would love to get feedback from you on how you are fighting the expected roles of a parent and being a single parent, and just like how I am 100% fascinated by this, and I want to know, like, how do you live your life? What's your schedule like? What time do you wake up? What about your kids? What do they eat? How are you doing this? Because I know I was a single parent for 5 years, but I didn't want to be a single parent. I wanted a husband, I mean, I wanted to be with someone, have that companionship with, I wanted to have sex all the time and, raise my children. So I admire you. And I'm not assuming that you're not having sex all the time. I'm just saying I wanted that closeness with another human, and kudos to you if, like, you don't, if you don't need somebody to depend on for your happiness, like, not that I know, I'm totally dependent. I'm not even going to lie about it. I really admire you, and I totally want to hear about it. I want to know everything. So yeah, I'm basically done talking your ear off.
Yeah. I think we touched on everything we needed to touch on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a Facebook group that I just started for dads. If anybody wants to join, it is called the Diaper Dad Collective, I believe. I can't even remember the name because I just made it. So
it is the Diaper Dad Collective.
There's only a few people in there right now, and it's kind of boring right now. So I want more people in there so we can all discuss and talk about being dads.
I'm sorry if this was just rambling to you. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm super tired and overwhelmed right now. I just got my syllabuses for my 2 early childhood education classes. The one class is cool. I'm down with it. But the other class that I just started yesterday, holy shit. I was going to get a second job this semester. No, I'm not getting a second job. I'm going to get a new job to replace the one job I already have, because there's no way I can handle all of this pressure. It is so much, and I hope I do really well, because I love majoring in early childhood education. I was going to leave, but now I'm not. But if I sound like an erratic person, I apologize. But on the other hand, these are all raw feelings that I gave tonight, because I was just really weighing on me. And every so often I get a comment at school from some people, I heard this one recently, but somebody in a group brought it up too, that, a woman was saying something about how she was feeling down, and somebody said, well, you make beautiful children. Like, okay. So that's all I'm good for? Cool. But I get that too, like, wow, you make really cute kids. And I'm like, that's not my only accomplishment, so thanks. But yeah, also, before I forget, my name is Alicia, but most people call me Allie. And I know I introduce myself as Alicia because most people know me as Alicia now. Not a lot of people call me Allie anymore. It's just like the super close ones, like family or friends I've had for like 15 plus years. But yeah, so just to clear up any confusion, Allie is short for Alicia, and I'll answer to either one. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in, and I hope we can record our next episode.
Yeah, we should be less busy now. I mean, we'll still be busy, but I think we kind of got a routine going to where we can squeeze it in on a late night like we did this time.
Yeah. And I won't be as tired. I'll definitely drink some coffee. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't drink too much coffee, though, because then I'll be really wired. No. If anybody has any suggestions for topics on the next episode or future ones, please email us or tweet at us or
post it on our Facebook, message us on Facebook, DM us on Twitter.
There's a lot of stuff that I like to cover, but I don't want to be like redundant. Like, I think we've covered gender roles enough, and I mean enough for now. Maybe something else. I don't know. Just any suggestions would be good, because I'm going to be pretty busy with school. So I might be, a little bit too frantic to be able to think of good topics. I mean, I could talk about all sorts of stuff all day long, but I mean, I would like some feedback on something that you would like to hear. So whoever is listening, which I hope you are, hit me up, please. I want something new to talk about. I want to do some research. So let me know what you want to hear, and I will do it for you. Kind of like a radio request.
Oh, special request.
I will do it for you.
Special request hour. Brought to you live.
All right. Well, this is Allie, Alicia,
and Maurice.
Peace.
Peace.